Live from KTTC, your weather authority, this is KTTC News at 6.
Thanks for joining us. New today, the COVID-19 vaccine is one step closer to being approved for children ages 5 and up.
This afternoon, the Food and Drug Administration Advisory Board voted to recommend the vaccine. That vote was 17-0, with one board member abstaining. So what happens now? Well, the FDA will take that recommendation and decide to approve the vaccine or not. And then the Centers for Disease Control's advisors meet next week to discuss the decision and will decide if they agree. The last word comes down to CDC Director Rochelle Walensky. If she gives the nod, vaccines for children could start a few days later. So what could this mean for children here in Rochester?
It's an answer to a question that many schools and parents have been waiting for. New tonight at 6, Noah Kaplan is outside of a school with an update on what exactly this approval would mean for Rochester's youth. Noah.
Yeah, Tom and Caitlin, that's right. I'm standing outside of the newly built Overland Elementary School right now. And the hope for schools like the one behind me is that there will be a gradual easing of restrictions, a gradual easing of protocols once they gain more information on how the vaccine is being rolled out to these younger age groups. I caught up with the RPS superintendent today in addition to talking with Olmsted County Public Health, and they told me a little bit more in depth about what the results would look like once this is rolled out to these age groups.
Adding the youngest kids who currently can't be vaccinated would get us to the point where we can say with confidence that the chances of students and staff both transmitting and getting sick from COVID are much diminished.
While many across the country are lining up for boosters, an entirely new crowd could be getting shots in arms as soon as next week. That would be 5 to 11-year-olds.
Vaccinated kids are not getting COVID, and with some exceptions. Are there breakthrough infections? Yes. They are, thus far, very rarely symptomatic.
As to what this would mean for Rochester, Olmsted County Public Health says COVID-19 transmission is still high across the county and wants to see those numbers diminished.
40% of the cases right now are those 18 and below. So if we can get children or the 5 to 11-year-olds vaccinated, that would most likely reduce more COVID cases. So we want to make sure that those that are considering are educated and that we are available to answer questions.
And what would this mean for school children, thousands of whom will now have the opportunity for a shot?
The positivity rate and the number of cases would have to come down before we could actually start loosening those mitigation strategies.
RPS says they are holding tight for now on their protocols, but the hope for the future is ultimately an easing of restrictions.
It would allow us to have kids and staff be able to take their masks off. It would allow us to be able to reduce social distancing requirements.
Now, as you said, Tom and Caitlin, the vote today was just an endorsement of the vaccine for children in these age groups. It was just an endorsement. It was not of the full EUA approval just yet. That approval is set to take place next week, as you mentioned earlier. That is in the works right now, and it's expected to take hold no matter what. Live in Rochester, Noah Kaplan, KTTC News.
Thanks, Noah.